Welcome to Chrisley Confessions. I'm Todd.
And Julie.
Good to see you again. I hadn't seen you since 10 minutes ago.
Exactly. We've had a busy morning
We
already.
had a busy morning. We did the interview with Fox this morning.
Yes.
And so that went well, other than, us having to go on a rooftop and the wind blowing.
And the wind was blowing, so I do have the wind blown look today.
Literally, she was like...
I was like, nobody warned me of this, but it's okay.
But it turned out to be a great interview with a great guy that did the interview, and found out that he and I have some ties to New York from when I was little. So that was a good little refreshing morning. Okay. So, and then I got up and you had your makeup artist there at the house doing makeup. And folks, everyone knows that I'm into pranking people. And this poor little girl, what's her name? That does
Morgan.
Morgan is jumpy anyway. And so every time she's in the house doing makeup, I scared the living shit out of her. This morning was no exception.
He doesn't have a life. He doesn't.
I have a great life. I just like to scare people.
Yeah. Well, you did that.
I do it to you.
And the tutor the other day.
Yeah, I got Chloe's tutor.
Yeah.
But I get you. Don't act like I don't get you.
Yes, you do. You do.
So last week was the Gray Divorce episode, or was that 2 weeks ago that we did that?
I'm not sure.
Well, whatever it was, folks.
Maybe it was last week.
We should always know that the tabloids are going to listen to Chrisley Confessions so they can grab a key word that they can run out here and put in the tabloids. So I need to know, when do I need to move out?
Shut up.
Because it's in the tabloids that we're divorcing again.
Well, it's been in the tabloids for
ever
20 years, 15 years.
Exactly. So, but it's in there again that we talked about this gray divorce as a segue into us announcing that we're divorcing.
Folks, if we ever divorced, there would not be a segue. We would be divorced before anybody ever knew it.
Thank you. And you would know because she would die of a broken heart.
Yeah.
So that's never going to happen. Exactly. So we talked about that. And then what else? Oh, I do want to talk about this just for a minute. This morning, I had submitted for a gentleman that his time, had been in prison longer than he should have been in prison. And I submitted it last night, and this morning he was called in and told he's leaving. So now we're at like 68 men that have been given, that have either moved to home confinement or to halfway house, or have been given dates that push them up anywhere from 6 to 9 months. Right. One of them was 14 months. So that made my morning. I was sending, I took a screenshot of it, and I sent it to our family group text. And in that interview with Fox just now, he said, what is your New Year's resolution? And I said, to be better than what I am today, which is better than what I was then. And I got that text message. Yeah, and I was like, wow, this is God talking. So that made me feel good, and that's put me in a really good mood today because I see a lot of people leaving and going home. What else do we have going on? They asked us in the interview about your cooking show.
Yes.
And so you'll start shooting those in February.
Yeah, I may even do some in the next couple days just to.
But for the show,
for Thanksgiving. But
so those will just be the things that you put on YouTube and stuff.
Yeah.
So then you'll start shooting the show, the segments for that, 26 of them in February.
Right.
So, and I will be producing, which is a great thing.
No. I've not heard this, and I've not agreed to this. Yeah, this is my baby. It's not yours.
I'm producing, or you can pay a producer, which comes out of your budget.
Okay, I don't need you to produce me.
You have to have a producer. You've been doing this forever. You have to have a producer of your show. Do you really? Who do you think is doing the show? You think that you're producing yourself?
I could.
Folks, we're going to do it two ways. We're going to let her put out some segments that she has produced herself while she's cooking at the same time. And we all know that Julie has trouble chewing gum and walking at the same time.
Oh, okay. So this is Bash Julie today.
No, it's you understanding that so you're firing me before I get started.
Well, no, I didn't even know that you were taking on that
But have
job.
you negotiated your deal?
No, and I didn't negotiate.
Who negotiated your deal?
Well, I obviously somebody else did because I haven't.
Okay, so then would you like me to cancel my talent agreement with
we'll
you?
talk about this at a later
exactly,
date.
Exactly.
We'll talk about this later.
So I'll be producing your 26 episodes. What do you want the flavor of this show to be? Because I have been doing research. I've been doing deep dives into like comments that people have, put on social media and whatever. And so many people want you to do segments of what did you cook while you were at summer camp? So I think that you do that. I think that you do some of those things.
I will incorporate some of that into it.
But I mean, I think that we're in the real world. And
yes.
So, we
have real ingredients and we have real ways to cook. So,
which we're working on with the Bureau of Prisons to make sure that commissary is expanded to give these men and women the ability to cook and prepare meals for themselves.
Right.
So what do you see the tone of your cooking show to be?
I want it to be real. I want it to be things that I actually cook. And I want it to be things that everybody else can cook. I don't want it to be crazy ingredients that people have to go out here and search and find. I want the majority of it to be things that if you cook, that you would have it in your pantry to cook.
Right.
I want to do ideas for weekly meals. I want to do special occasion meals. All that.
I love that. I hope you can find a producer that's going to let you do all of that.
I do too.
I hear if you sleep with your producer,
oh my gosh,
it buys you favor.
Yeah, that gets you in the paper. You don't need another case.
We love the papers. So then Savannah's been in D.C. this week doing wonderful things.
Yep.
And so I'm so proud of her for that.
Right. Then she and I are heading to Tuscaloosa for a Turning Point event.
Right.
And then back, and then I'm headed to a small town in Tennessee on Thursday to have lunch with some people. And then Friday, Grayson and I are heading out to Vegas for the weekend.
To do this, what is it?
Formula One race.
Formula One race, because Grayson has to do this. It's part of his Christmas, he says. I think I read that day that I butchered whatever it was he said.
Yeah.
So that's one of Grayson's Christmas gifts that he's going to this F1, whatever it is.
Yes, we're going to be there for the weekend. So it's a busy week. So, folks, that means that some more of the parenting responsibilities with Chloe are going to fall to Todd.
And what did I tell Chloe last night at the kitchen counter when we were having dinner? That
she would have to get up, because if she didn't wake up, then she wouldn't be going to school.
I said, if you do not get up, you are 13 years old. I said, you are no different than the other children that I've raised. First of all, I don't know why somebody dumps this on me, because I've never done it. I've never had to do it. And the times that I did do it, I just didn't make my kids go to school.
Okay, well, she's going to school.
She had a fit.
Yeah, she was like, oh, no.
She loves school.
Yeah, she's like, I have to be at school.
She said, I have to be at school. And I said, well, then that means that you have to hear your alarm clock when it goes off.
Well, she will. She's good about it. She gets up. I don't have any trouble with her. So
I mean, I'm good if she oversleeps, because then that means that we just won't do anything. We'll go have lunch.
No, Todd, she has to go to school. So
school's overrated.
He will pick up on occasion. He will do pickup on occasion.
If I'm out.
But this week, he has to do, 2 days of drop off.
Right.
And
2 days in the morning. I've got to go in the morning.
2 days in the morning and 3 days in the afternoon.
See, that's
a lot.
That is so selfish.
That's a lot, Todd. But you know, I don't ask you to do that very much. I can guarantee you, I've done it thousands of times.
I didn't work this much in prison.
Oh my God. Poor Chloe.
Well, or not. Like I said, if she oversleeps, we're not doing school that day.
Yeah,
so she and I will get dressed. We'll go have lunch. We'll do whatever.
No, she's going to school.
And what else do we have? We have so much stuff that's going on that we just can't talk about right now.
Yeah.
Well, I think that, it's really very calm right now.
Yeah, I don't even like to say that, because the minute that we say everything goes off the rails.
God is bringing us that. We deserve that. We deserve that. God does not want us in turmoil all the time. He does not want us feeling stress all the time or being anxious. So I'm accepting of that. I'm going to leave this podcast today. You're going to go buy me lunch. And then if you're nice tonight, I will let you touch.
I'm not going to be there tonight.
Then I'll touch myself.
Shut up. You are horrible.
Well, I was going to let you, but now that you said that, then I guess it's left up to me.
I'm going to be with Savannah. The holidays are hectic. Family drama, last-minute shopping, and late nights can make the holidays feel like an endurance test. That's why I'm sharing the ultimate holiday survival plan, CBD from CB Distillery. Seriously, everything you need for a merry holiday is here. Stuff mom's stocking with CBD for better sleep. Get your fitness friend a pain relief stick for post-workout pain. And don't forget to grab a little holiday calm for yourself. Every CB Distillery product is made from premium, quality, clean ingredients, no fillers or anything artificial. And with over 2 million customers and a 100% money-back guarantee, it's the gift you can feel good about giving. This year, give yourself and everyone on your list the gift of better sleep, less stress, and pain relief with CBD from CB Distillery. And I can tell you right now that I have got some great stocking stuffers for some people in my life. My dad actually loves the CBD for sleep because he has a horrible time sleeping. So this is definitely on my list. And with my promo code Chrisley, you can save 25% on your entire purchase. Visit cbdistillery.com and enter code Chrisley for 25% off. That's cbdistillery.com, code Chrisley. Specific product availability depends on individual state regulations. Now that Todd and I are home and actually settled, we're doing a little bit of traveling, and we were super excited to get our Noble all-in-one carry-on. I got the pale pink and Todd got the silver. They are absolutely beautiful pieces of luggage. Noble's all-in-one carry-on is the durable, safe, advanced luggage that you've always dreamed of. It gives you real travel peace of mind, security, design, and convenience all in one. Every suitcase comes with a 100-day money-back guarantee and free 3-day express shipping. Did we mention it has a lifetime warranty? It's the last suitcase you'll ever have to buy. I actually used my Noble all-in-one on a trip that Grayson and I took recently. It's super easy to pack. I love the zipper on the inside. I love the fact that it doesn't have a zipper on the outside, and I can charge my phone. What more do you need? Noble gives you the real travel peace of mind, security, design, and convenience all in one. For a limited time, Noble is having the biggest sale ever. Head to nobletravel.com for up to 58% off your entire order. That's NOBL travel.com for up to 58% off. After your purchase, they'll ask you where you heard about them. Please support our show and tell them that we sent you.
Let me ask you this.
Okay.
You know, because as I said, I've read some of these comments and stuff. How do you feel when people are saying, when they're talking about this gray divorce stuff?
Oh, we're going to talk about this some more.
Well, because there were some things that people have been coming to you asking for clarification on.
Oh.
I had to ask you for clarification on what some of this stuff was.
Right.
But I was reading some of the comments under the podcast page, and people were talking about that the reason that the number is so elevated in the older age group is because people are getting divorced in their older years, so that the other one, if one of them's ill or sick, they divorce so that the other one does not lose their money or their assets because of medical bills.
I did see that too, that people were actually doing it to avoid like the medical bills.
Right.
With the other, I think I would never think to do that, like ever.
No, because there ain't no way you're gonna let me get loose like that.
That just seems crazy. But I did see, and I really don't look at comments, but I did see a few people that say they divorced for that reason. But
But how sad is that you're that in this country that you would have to be at 60 years old or 70 years old, having to look at a divorce as your option, because the medical bills is going to destroy you.
Yeah, that was weird. I never thought about that. Honestly, I never thought about that ever crossing my mind. But I mean, I guess you could do that and then just live in the same house, or I don't know. That seems weird to me.
I'm not living in sin with you.
Well,
if we're not married, we're not shacking up.
Most people are divorcing at that age because they just want to move on, or they're just not happy, or whatever. I don't believe that. that many people are doing it for that reason. But
Well, you saw
maybe.
the same
I did
things
see
that I
it
did.
though, which I thought was crazy.
I just can't, again, we've talked about this, but I just cannot imagine at 57 years old starting over with someone different. That is just not even something that I can fathom.
It's crazy to me.
And I mean, it has to be more difficult for you at 59.
Shut up. It is crazy to me because it just seems like, I don't know. I think you have such a, we have such a level of comfort, I mean, we've been together through our 20s, our 30s, our 40s, and now our 50s.
And,
literally, we have been together all those times. So we have grown older together, which I think would be weird to be with an old man that you haven't grown old with.
I think it'd be weird to be with an old man too.
No, you know what I'm saying though? I mean, it's like, I don't know. Is that weird or no?
I mean, I think so.
But I also think it's weird to me because I've never contemplated divorce. I've never thought, oh, I'm going to get a divorce, or, oh, I might get a divorce. I've never thought about that.
Yeah.
So as the thoughts never crossed my mind to be with someone other than you.
Yeah,
so
I don't think about that either.
Don't lie.
Well, I mean, there's some thoughts every now and then late at night when you're sleeping and I've got my laptop.
Shut up.
There's those moments.
You're disgusting.
But I'm at a place in my life, just as I said in this interview earlier today, I am at a good place in my life with me.
Right.
I'm not at war with myself anymore.
And that's a huge thing. And I think that's something that so many people are constantly trying to fix things, and they never really fix themselves. So they're constantly searching. They're constantly on this search for what's going to fulfill me, what's going to make me happy.
Well, I think that
when they really should be looking into themselves and being like, okay, what do I need to do to make me better?
Well, I think that, yes, I agree with that. But I think that from my personal experience, and I speak only on my personal experience, that for me, life has been hard. It was harder for me to fix some of the things that was broken in me than it was for me to fix everything around me.
Right.
It was easier to fix,
Right.
how we lived and the homes that we have,
Right.
and what cars we were going to do and how we were going to be dressed and how we were going to look. And
Right.
that was easier for me to get a handle on
Right.
than Todd was. And, I think that out of insecurity, you go through life and if you've had certain things happen in your childhood, that you are predisposed to feeling that, maybe you're not good enough to do this, or maybe you shouldn't be doing that, or whatever. And now I don't care what anyone tells you about getting older. Getting older is one of the most liberating times of your life, because you just don't care what anyone else thinks.
Right.
It is your time to firmly commit to yourself that you are good. If you're not good, you at least know that at this age, or should, and you make a decision that I'm going to work on that, or I'm not. I know that, as I said on Savannah's podcast, I think that sometimes when you've carried something for so long, because, Savannah will say, oh, yeah, I think you should talk about this in therapy. I think you should do this in therapy. And you know how I feel about it. I think that therapy is very beneficial for so many people, and it has been for me in certain areas. But I think that when you carry something for so long, it's no longer what you carry that becomes the burden. It's the fear of laying it down.
Of letting go.
And not having it to hold on to.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
I think that happens to a lot of people with bitterness, with anger, with hurt. There's so many emotions that I think that is applicable to.
Yes.
I really do.
Yes.
Because people will hold on to it because it's easier to hold on to it than it is to ever let go of it.
That's right. And, I think
it's almost like this self-loathing. It's almost like that, like we want to torture ourselves.
Because you don't feel worthy.
Right. We want to feel the heaviness always, because God
That's what
forbid
you know.
if we let go and are feel light. Okay, so I am forever looking for new beauty products, and I have found the perfect one from Jones Road Beauty. Do you hate the heavy caked on look? Does it take you too long to apply every morning? Or did you use a ton of different products? And with holiday events and parties coming up, did getting ready always feel like a stressful hassle? Too many products, too many steps, never enough time. Well, let me tell you, Jones Road Beauty Miracle Balm. It actually enhances your skin instead of masking it with layers of makeup. And it gives you that natural look that everyone's looking for and raving about these days. Starting November 6th, Jones Road is launching their most giftable and exclusive holiday collection yet. All 5 limited edition kits in the collection are trios that include new holiday shades, products, and packaging. And the best part of Jones Road Beauty, all their products are actually good for your skin. Their products look and feel natural, like you're not wearing makeup at all. Create that effortless, natural, no makeup look. Their best seller is Miracle Balm, the ultimate makeup skincare hybrid product that gives a natural glow. This holiday season, simplify your routine with makeup that's clean, strategic, and multifunctional. And don't miss out on their limited edition holiday sets. They won't be here for long, and once they're gone, they're gone. Also, as a treat to our listeners, you'll get a free cool gloss on your first purchase when you use code Chrisley at checkout. Just head to jonesroadbeauty.com and use code Chrisley at checkout. After you purchase, they will ask you where you heard about them. Please support our show and tell them our show sent you.
I can truly remember a moment that I had. It was, I think, October of 23. And it hit me so hard. And I had nowhere else to go. I had to deal with it at that moment. And I remember feeling almost a sense of euphoria because I accepted what it was that hit me so hard.
Right.
And I accepted that. And I was like, there's nothing you can do to change it. Right. Stop thinking that you have the ability to make anything happen. Everything that happens in your life is God-driven. You either will make a decision to adhere to what God's word is and surrender to him, or you will continue swimming upstream. And Todd, you're getting too old, brother, to keep swimming upstream.
Right.
And when that happened for me, I was like, okay, I'm good. And I remember the next day feeling such a release. Like I didn't feel as heavy anymore because I accepted that situation for what it was.
Right.
And I'm just at a better place than I've ever been for me personally. And I feel very good with our kids. Right. I feel very good with where I am with Savannah and where I am with Chase and where I am, with Grayson and Chloe. I feel good about where I am with them. And I enjoy every moment of not having to, Chase, you have to film it. Your first scene this morning at 9:00. Savannah, do not walk in here 15 minutes late and throw everybody off.
Right.
I'm not having to do that anymore.
Right.
And, I said to you, is it weird that we have this house and it's just us 3 in it? I mean, listen how quiet it is. And I thought there was a time that scared me to death.
Right, that you thought we could never live knowing that the kids were not under you.
Right, and I remember you and I having a conversation years ago, and I said, Julie, what do we do? What do we do when they leave?
Right.
What are we at that point?
Right.
And you said, well, Todd, we're still husband and wife. We're still parents.
Right.
But this is the moment that we've raised them for.
Right.
And you said you can't hold them forever. Right. And I remember being so mad at you. And I said, you don't care about them like I do.
Right.
Now I understood that you cared about them in a more healthy way. Your love for our children was in a healthier way because you always looked at it is your job to raise our children to be young, good, decent human beings, to leave and go out and forge their own way.
Right.
I raised our children to be good, decent, honorable human beings that was always going to stay with me. Mm-hmm.
And it was always going to need you.
Yes.
Not that they don't still need you in many, many, many capacities. They do. But I think now you don't feel that you need it as much.
I don't.
And I think that's a huge growth for you. That is huge growth for you.
I need, my needs today are much different. Emotionally, my needs are much different today. Like I need to be with you every day. I need to eat. I need to work out. I need to make sure I have that one-on-one time with God. I need to make sure that I'm doing as much as I can to be involved with the Bureau of Prisons and to help people get home. Those are things that I need now. I need to talk to my children, every day. But like Savannah, she's been gone to D.C. and she's been in meetings the whole time. I don't blow her up like I used to.
Right. And it's not like this sense of urgency.
There's not
like,
an
oh my God,
there's not
I got to talk to them or I have to hear from them.
There's not an anxiousness there. That's not there for me anymore.
Right.
And they're having more of an issue with it.
Right. But I mean, I've noticed because sometimes you'll be like, have you heard from Savannah? No. And before you would be like, what do you mean? What do you mean you haven't heard from Savannah? You need to be on that phone. You need to find out where she is, what she's doing.
This is your daughter.
Yeah. And now you're like, okay, well, she must be busy.
Yeah, because
and that is real growth.
God has taken that from me.
I mean, that's huge.
And plus, I think I view Savannah differently today.
Right.
Savannah's a young woman.
Yeah. Well, we said, and at this interview that we did earlier, that the situation forced them to grow up
in a way that you and I don't believe could have ever done,
or that we would have ever done,
that's
because
right.
we would have always tried to hold on. We would have always tried to be needed, and they can't do this without us, whatever. And they learned that they could, and we also learned that we could. And I think that's a positive that definitely comes from
and
all
I think
this.
though that our relationships, all of our relationships, I think are healthier. I think that our relationships are healthier today.
Right.
I think that mine and your relationship is better today.
Right.
From my perspective.
Right.
I mean,
No, I agree. I think we were both so depleted before we went to prison.
That we were just getting through the day.
We were just getting through the day because emotionally, physically, we were just so depleted that we didn't have it to give to ourselves.
No,
let alone to each other.
And like now, like we're laughing again.
Right.
We're cutting up with each other again.
Right.
And I'm excited for the future because it's a future that is shaped differently than I've ever thought of.
Right.
We're thinking about, we're working on what our house is going to look like that we're going to build. And before it was, we had to have a gym. We had to have a basketball gym in the house, and because Grayson was into basketball.
Right.
And, we had to make sure that we had a suite for every child.
Right.
And, and now you and I are sitting here looking at houses and we're like, no, we don't really need a dining room because we never use a dining room.
No.
And you said, I want one huge room, a table that seats 20 people and 2 huge islands and, a caterer's kitchen or a scullery kitchen behind the main kitchen. And, then a big family room with a huge fireplace. And I said, yeah. And then we need to make sure that our master bedroom, that, you have your side, I have my side, and you have huge closets, I have huge closets. And then we do mama one on the other end of the house. And then upstairs, we just have a bedroom for each of the children.
Right.
If they have to come home.
Right. Or if they want
to come home, right.
Not have to.
Right.
Always.
But, we're different. We're different, and which is I was saying to the producer last night. When he was asking, what does the theme of the show? What do you want it to be? What does it feel like? When you're talking about the creation of this next round, what is it you want the show to feel like? And I said, like us.
Right.
I said, because if you feel like us, then that's the rest of America.
Right.
And I said, I don't want to showcase houses and cars and all this. I said, I want to showcase our life.
Right.
I want to showcase us working
relationships.
And relationships and building the restaurant and Chase's brewery and the things that Savannah's got going on, with Good Girl RX. And our kids getting married and us having, grandchildren that we have relationships with that's with us every day. And that's the feel of what I want the show to be.
Right.
And he said, but the world looks at you as, you're the funny guy. I said, but that's not going to change. I said, you understand that I have been programmed since as a child that in order to not feel pain, you laugh.
Right.
And I said, so I've done that my whole life. I'm not in pain anymore.
Right.
And I've come to peace with some of the things that's happened in my life.
Right.
And you still have that, but this is real. I want the pulse of this show to be who we are.
Right.
And I said, it's not Chrisley Knows Best, it's the Chrisleys.
Right.
Because the Chrisleys are different today than what they were in Chrisley Knows Best.
Right.
And he said, I love that.
Yeah.
He said, I love that.
Right. And there will be funny moments because there's funny moments in our real life.
You can't help but to have funny moments.
And our life is,
as my mother goes to as she says, and which I got onto you the other day. Julie hangs out with my mother all the time. My mother, everywhere she goes, it's the. She's going to the Walmart. She's going to the Kroger, to the Publix. And now Julie's laying in bed the other night. She says, well, I've got to go to the Kroger. I said, you're not going to the. There is no the in front of Kroger. But, she goes to the Walmart yesterday.
Yeah.
Runs into Dr. Peach,
our doctor's
who is
wife.
our family practitioner, and runs into his wife. And poor Miss Peach did not even ask for this. She says, Nanny, how are you doing? She said, oh, honey, I'm fine. My vagina's getting much better now. You can't make this
Oh, my God.
You can't make it up.
No.
And I said, what? What?
I heard you upstairs hollering.
I called and I said, Mama, what is wrong with you? You don't go to the Walmart and talk about the vagina. Well, she asked me how I was doing, and she knew I'd been to see John.
Yeah, but...
And I said, but she didn't ask about your rusty old cat.
Right, because he wouldn't discuss it with her.
No. And so she's like, oh, Todd, you're the only one that has a problem with things like that. I had a bladder infection. Who cares? I said, Mama, you just don't... Bye, Todd. Bye. Mm-hmm. And she hung the phone up. Mm-hmm. Yes, Aaron.
Todd, you talked about her vagina on the podcast 2 weeks ago.
But I wasn't in the Walmart talking about it.
With your doctor's wife?
With my doctor's wife.
I know. We need to move on from that topic.
I mean...
It's been the...
it's so just... I mean, she just has zero filters.
Yeah.
And... poor Dr. Peach. Every time I know she's got an appointment, I send him a text and say, John, before she gets there, I apologize. Before she gets there, I apologize.
Sorry.
Because this is a man of the highest level of integrity. His character is beyond reproach. He's not going to talk to you about a patient. And he will always respond, just LOL. He never says anything, just LOL. And I just God, please protect John today because my mother's going to see him. God, I ask that you blur his vision, that you make sure that he does not have to go anywhere that no man should have to go at this point. But so, you have started picking up the.
Oh, sorry.
So I need you to remember that
it's
when you go to Nordstrom, it's not the Nordstrom.
Okay.
It's not the Walmart.
Okay.
Because, I was watching a thing and it said that people that you're around, you start mimicking. If you're around them enough, you mimic that behavior.
Yeah. Even when I was, at the camp, people would say, well, when I'm around you, I feel like I talk more Southern. I'm like, around me? And they're like, yeah. I was like, oh, well, whatever.
I would have given anything to have heard that Southern twang.
I guess you do. I don't know.
So what does the rest of your week look like?
I told you what my week is crazy.
I just want you to say it again, how you're leaving me behind.
I'm going to get to see Grayson, going to Tuscaloosa, so that'll be fun, but it'll be a busy day.
And you'll get to be with Grayson all weekend.
Yeah, and then like I said, on Thursday, I'm going to a little town, Pulaski, Tennessee. I'm going to have lunch with some people, which will be fun, and a friend of mine from the camp. And then, like I said, Friday is Vegas, baby.
So let me understand.
And I'm not... I mean, I'm doing this for him. I really am, because
She's not. She's going to gamble because she's just like my mother.
No, I probably really won't, because, I'm not going to leave him, and we're going to be busy. We're going to get there. We're going to have a late lunch, and then we have to go, like, I'm thinking, like, it's like outside, like, so it's going to be all Friday evening and all Saturday evening. So it'll be busy.
You're going to be with Grayson tonight.
I'm sure we'll see him tonight. I hope we
And
get out of
then-
here. I've got to push Savannah along, because she gets a little sidetracked sometimes.
So you'll see Grayson tonight.
Yep,
You'll
and
see
tomorrow.
Grayson tomorrow.
Yes.
Then you'll see Grayson again on Friday, Saturday, and
and
Sunday.
Yeah.
And you don't have a favorite, right?
No, not at all.
I'm just saying there will be signs. There will be signs.
No, I miss him. I miss him. We've been home, and he hasn't even really been home that much because he's been in school. So
It is. I love to see him walk in, that little string
know.
bean. I'd love to see
know.
him walk in.
I'm excited too. So it'll be
I'm
fun.
excited to have them home for the holidays.
Yeah.
I do want to touch on kind of some things that's going on within the Bureau of Prisons. Things are looking better.
Right.
We still have a long way to go, folks. And there was, what was his name from Atlanta? Vernon Jones? What was the politician's name from Atlanta that I told you was on the news the other night,
Yeah, but I don't
saying that we're raising hell about how people are being treated in ICE, but yet you're not worried about people being treated, how they're treated in these county jails or the prisons.
Okay.
I think it's Vernon Jones.
Okay.
He was on Fox the other night, and he was talking about, all this whole thing that we're in an uproar about in the country,
Right.
about ICE and these detention centers and what have you. And if anyone's being abused in a detention center, whether it's
No.
ICE or state or federal, it's wrong.
Absolutely.
And should not be happening.
Absolutely.
But I think we need to take a harder look within. We are using the immigration policies that are in effect now, that was in effect before all this stuff started happening, and saying that immigrants are being mistreated in the detention centers. But you're not concerned about your own citizens of this country being mistreated in county jails. You're not worried about your own neighbors or brothers and sisters being mistreated in federal prisons.
Right.
But you're going to march the streets and you're going to burn and do whatever. But you're not doing that for these people
Right.
that's incarcerated.
When it should be all people.
Exactly.
Like immigrants,
When the rebuttal when I say this is going to be, but those people deserve to be there because they're criminals. But if you're here in this country illegally, you're a criminal.
Yeah, you're breaking the law.
So you're
too.
breaking the law.
Right.
So my point here is that I'm not advocating for abuse for anyone.
Right.
Whether you're here illegally or not, you're
Or
a
you've
human
committed a
being.
crime or not.
Right. You're a human being. So I just thought that it was very eye-opening to have him come out and say that.
Right.
That you need to be marching in front of these county jails.
Yeah.
You need to be marching in front of these federal prisons where these people do not have adequate food or clothing or medical care, where they're being physically and mentally and emotionally abused. You're not marching. You're not doing that. But you're out here in the street blowing whistles to disrupt ICE agents from removing illegal immigrants.
Right.
And again, you know how I feel about this whole stuff
Right.
with that. I don't believe that children should be swept out of homes, and I believe that we're as a country, we're better than that.
Yeah.
But put it all in context, folks. You can't be over here on the left shouting that you don't want illegal immigrants mistreated while you're living in your home allowing an American citizen to be mistreated in a prison
Right.
or in a county jail.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I know that is something that you're working on, that you want to bring more attention to, and I think it's very important.
Yes.
Very important.
And, I wanted to talk about, and I'm going to make sure, because I want to make sure that I pronounce these people's names correctly.
Are you
when
getting
I
ready to
get there.
bash somebody?
I'm getting ready to
Oh,
go
Lord.
in for a second because I'm going to let them know that I'm going to expose them. On November the 17th of this year, to the appropriate authorities, I'm submitting this formal complaint regarding what I believe to be a coordinated and retaliatory operation carried out on the morning of November the 17th, 2025 at the Miami Federal Prison Camp. This retaliation appears to be directly connected to my previous complaint involving Officer Gonzalez. I got my eye on you, brother. Incident summary. At approximately 4 a.m., more than 20 agents and officers, entered the Miami FPC prison camp in large-scale raid. Now, this is a prison camp, folks. You've got no one violent there, but this mod squad is going to come in at 4 o'clock in the morning. This operation involved an unusually high number of personnel. Keep in mind, the Bureau of Prisons claims that their people are overworked and they're understaffed, but yet you got a large number at 4 o'clock in the morning showing up to do this shit show. An unusually high number of personnel, all or most of whom must have been on overtime, resulting in a significant cost to the taxpayer. The size and coordination of this operation indicate that it required advanced planning and could not have occurred without the knowledge and approval of the warden of Miami prison camp. Agents entered the dorms with guns drawn.
Guns drawn?
I think that what they're saying is those guns that they have the pellets in or whatever, the plastic
Like a
things
stun
in.
gun or
it's not a
something?
stun gun, but it is a gun. But I mean, they have like the plastic pellets or whatever in them. More than entered the camp with the guns drawn, shouting at inmates at 4 o'clock in the morning, folks, to get up and exit immediately without taking any property or clothing. We were forced into the visitation room in freezing temperatures, wearing only what we had on when we were woken. Now, folks, this sounds a little bit like what you're complaining about regarding ICE. Many inmates lacked sufficient clothing for the cold condition. During the initial period in the visitation room, inmates were denied access to the bathroom. Later, limited access was granted, but inmates were told they were allowed only to urinate. Sounds like what you're complaining about ICE. Multiple officers stated, "We don't have time for that." When inmates asked to use the toilet for other needs, bathroom access was monitored and restricted to 20-minute periods, followed by 30-minute pauses so staff could take a break. They're the ones started the shit show. Why do you need a break? One inmate with a known medical condition collapsed in the hallway of I unit while waiting to be moved. Staff made no effort to check on him, requiring inmates to assist him instead. This occurred in full view of staff, none of which intervened. Does it sound like what they're complaining about with
Yeah,
ICE?
that's crazy.
We were kept in the visitation room until approximately 9:30 a.m. before being questioned one by one. Among the questions asked were whether we felt safe at the camp, whether we had observed weapons or illegal activity, and what problems we believed existed at the facility. Now, folks,
But you had to get somebody up at 4 o'clock in the morning to do that?
But here's the thing. They know that I'm on to them and that I have reported them to the regional director, John Bartlett. So Bartlett contacted the warden the night before about the stuff that I was telling him that was going on there at his camp. And the warden was awakened by the regional director. So it'll get to that in a minute. So this was retaliation. And they love to hide under the guise of a facility security issue. They try to put everything under safety for the security, for the institution. Statements by staff indicating retaliation. During the operation, several staff members made statements directly linking today's events to my previous complaint involving Officer Gonzalez. Officer Frederick entered the visitation room and loudly shouted to another officer, "The inmate says I started this issue. Let's see what the video shows. These guys think they can just lie about me. Let's see what happens." That's a threat. As Officer Andino exited I-1 and 2, she stated, "Thank you, Mr. Rudderman, for all your help." This statement implied that an 84-year-old inmate was assisting with complaints against the staff, placing him at risk by making such an accusation publicly. I've never dealt with this 84-year-old individual that you're trying to out. You've been outed, Andino and Gonzalez and Frederick, because of your abuse and retaliation, but I'm going to make sure you're under investigation for that. As Officer Andino and the captains involved in this, Captain Culver, exited I-1 and 2 together, they stated, "Tell your friend to stop waking us up because this is what you're going to get." This statement is one of the clearest indications that the raid was carried out in retaliation of inmate complaints. Now, they did this because I reported them the night before around 8 or 9 o'clock at night, which means that the regional director would have made that call and
And it would have been an hour later in Miami.
Exactly. So it's just insane, but this is what happens. Further, during the search of J Dorm, Officer Frederick stated, "The white guy wants to push, so we will push even harder." I'm the white guy. "They're going to wake up the warden, so we're going to wake them up every day." Now that's blatant retaliation.
That's crazy.
Property damage and unsafe conditions. During the raid, staff confiscated or removed bowls, blankets, pillows, commissary items, and essentially anything that was left on the beds or the floor, despite waking inmates up at 4 a.m. and refusing to allow them to secure their property. Staff broke into their tablets, leaving them damaged or discarded on beds or on the floors. Now, folks, these tablets are $130 to $150 that the inmate has to purchase, or that the family of that inmate purchases, so that they can, speak to their family or watch movies or what have you. But they came in and destroyed them. In the Grow dorm, Officer Andino was informed that the bathroom was non-functional, yet she locked inmates inside and stated that perhaps after interviews of J Dorm inmates were complete, she might consider unlocking the door. Inmates also had no access to the water.
There's no way that can be policy.
Exactly. There's no policy in any of this. It's all retaliation and abuse. Perhaps after interviews that were complete, she would consider unlocking the door. Inmates also had no access to the water fountain from approximately 10 a.m. until 12:15 p.m. The retaliatory nature of the operation, this operation was not spontaneous. It was security driven or justified by legitimate concerns. Indicators of retaliation include direct statements linking the raid to my prior complaint about Officer Gonzalez, threats and retaliatory comments made by Officer Frederick, Officer Andino, and Captain Culver, public comments endangering Mr. Rudderman, the 84-year-old individual, the scale and cost of the raid, which could have only occurred with warden-level approval, and dangerous, punitive, and degrading treatment of inmates.
That is horrible.
I request a full investigation by an external authority, as internal staff appear to be directly involved in the retaliation. I request that all camera footage from 3:30 a.m. to 1 o'clock p.m. on November the 17th, 2027 be preserved, including footage. 2025. Be preserved, including footage from J Dorm, I-1 through 2, hallways, visitation room, interview rooms, and exterior hallways. I further request that my prior complaint involving Officer Gonzalez and the reprisals that followed be reviewed together as they form a clear pattern of retaliation, which is something that Director Marshall and Deputy Director Josh Smith have stated will not happen on their watch and is grounds for automatic termination. I certify that this complaint is accurate to the best of my knowledge and request immediate appropriate review.
So
Now-
that was somebody, an inmate had sent this to you.
Yes, well, their family member did.
Right.
So at any rate, I received a phone call the other night from the staff member that was reiterating. I read this to him, and he said, every bit of this is true. Now, yes, there's contraband issues in every prison, but 90% of the contraband that's coming in is coming in through the gates, not over the gates. They're coming in through staff members. Now, yes, you do have some good staff members. I've met some of them. I've dealt with some of them. And the good ones are the ones that have become the whistleblowers.
Right.
Telling on the ones that should not be doing the things that they're doing.
Right.
But you need to know, if I called your name out at Miami, I'm going to contact Peter Navarro, who was at Miami, who already has said how corrupt that facility is, how they do not calculate the First Step Act correctly, how they refuse to give these men the Second Chance Act the way they're supposed to. I'm going to make sure that each and every one of you are held accountable. Stop saying that you did this because you were looking for contraband. You bring the contraband in. You know it's there. That's how you know how to find it. You know when you need more money, you go and you raid these dorms and you take these phones back that you brought in to begin with, so you can turn around and sell a whole new batch to the guys that are there that want the phones and that can afford them. So I know your game. I'm peeping your show. But I wanted to read that today because it happened. That came through last night. I've notified the Deputy Director, Josh Smith. I've notified Beth Reese, who is the head of OIA. I have sent it to Savannah for her to make sure that Peter gets a copy of it and other people in D.C. get copies of it. And I have notified the Regional Director, John Bartlett. I find John Bartlett to be a good regional director. You know, I have a good rapport with him, and he has been very responsive to the complaints about the facilities that he's involved in. And if it's one that he's not involved with and I bring it to him, he says, I'll help you with it. And he does. But this here, I want these individuals held accountable.
Right.
And it places the regional director in a bad light to have to go in and to have to come down on people that I'm sure he's worked with forever. So I'm taking it away from him and putting it out here in the public domain so that the public can, where's your whistles? Get your whistles out. Blow those bitches until you collapse a lung, but blow them for the right reasons. Blow them from the abuse of the American citizens that are sitting in prison that are being abused as well. Keep blowing for those then in ICE if they're being abused, but make sure you blow them for your own brothers and sisters. So that's my soapbox for today.
And listen, I can't think of a better way to end it. Blow your whistle.
Blow your whistle. So I love you. I thank you for doing the podcast with me today, for doing the interview with me this morning. And I'm going to miss you on the days that you're gone, but I'm sure that I'll blow you up a million times.
And Todd will survive, or you'll hear about it.
Yes, I'm going to bitch the entire time. And you can screenshot your text messages. I don't care. But until next week, good luck and God bless.